Luca Bombardieri holds the position of associate professor specializing in Aegean and Cypriot archaeology at the University of Siena. He has also served as a lecturer and associate professor specializing in Aegean prehistory and Near Eastern archaeology at the University of Florence and Torino in Italy. His research encompasses a wide array of interests, ranging from the examination of social organization and ideology within prehistoric communities in Cyprus to the prehistory of Mediterranean islands. Now, in Cyprus, he played a vital role in the Kouris Valley Survey Project from 2007 to 2008. And since 2009, he has been the scientific director of the Erimi Archaeological Project, which I've been so fortunate enough to have seen firsthand. And so today I just want to give a really warm welcome to Luca. Thanks for accepting my invitation.
Thank you, Andreas. It's a pleasure to be here for me, and thank you very much for inviting me to join the podcast of Cyprus Archaeology, which I like so much, and I'm enthusiastic to participate in this initiative.
Thanks again, Luca. So you were fortunate enough to be actually set up at the local school in Erimi, which it was not simply a place of work, but I was surprised to see that you and other archaeologists quite literally live at the site for several weeks, which it might be surprising for listeners to hear about this. And this isn't entirely common, but this is kind of fits in line with your own directorial philosophy. Can you tell me what your thinking is behind that? Like, why is it such a great idea to be set up communally the way you were?
Yeah, Andreas, I think there are several reasons I think that we can mention, but the first one I think is the most important is to share the space together in a not hierarchical way, but share the space means share the ideas and live together is an experience that is necessary to reach a ground of exchanging between members of the community of archaeologists. What we are trying to do is to experience a community life, whereas we are excavating, studying, and documenting the life of an ancient community. So we are mirroring the living of a community. I don't like at all the idea of going to the site, like going to the office or going to work like at the university, or like because I think it's a lost chance, and you have to deeply live the experience of the excavation. And then we have also a lot of practical issues connected, because when you live the same space, and it's a great space, believe me, because the Erimi Primary School is a wonderful place, and we have to thanks a lot the Erimi Community Board and the Mukhtar for his willingness and the kind spirit of accepting us in this wonderful space. I mean, the practical issues are also we share the time for dinner, the time for lunch, the break. Since we are Italian, we share the aperitivo there as well, because we are living in our own way as well.
Right.
And this is the chance for us to connect each other, and also exchange ideas. In some cases, some of what we can say the brightest ideas we produced, they were produced during aperitivo or during other communal living moments that we are, because you are feeling much more free and you're feeling in a better way. And so that's what you call philosophy. That's the approach we are going to have to the community of archaeologists living and having fieldwork there.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that your role there as the director of this excavation is a bit like conducting an orchestra. Do you mind telling listeners what is it that you mean by being the director and being the director of an orchestra, essentially?
Okay, not so important like directing an orchestra, I mean, but anyway, it's like it's a similar job. The directing an archaeological project is like trying to put together the different voices, different expertise, because you have to deal with people that I don't know, calibrate radiocarbon dates, and they are physics. And you have to deal with people that can give you information about the landscape and geomorphology, and they are geologists, geoarchaeologists, and restorers, and people that deal with materials, and so pottery experts, metal experts, and none of them have a wider, a broader view on the context itself, but they know their own specific field of analysis and work and job. So what you have to do as a director is to try to cross over all the information that coming from different sources and from different people that have different vocabularies, different, even different methodologies, different mindsets, and try to put all this information together and try to make them communicating together in order to reconstruct a wider picture, homogeneous picture, and readable picture, and also try to communicate this picture beyond the field of archaeology, as we are doing now, for example. And this is the role we have as directors is just to put together. That's why I thought that conducted an orchestra is a good metaphor to describe this.
Yeah, one of the first things I did notice was exactly that, how interdisciplinary and equally as important all the different components of a dig site and the research that happens outside of the dig is. As again, a layperson, you think that people just go and they set up at a site and they dig, but as I saw firsthand, that's like a fraction of what's required. I mean, what I witnessed was the surveying that happens beforehand that utilizes and leverages technology, sampling the soil, photographing, preserving, documenting. It's like this elaborate dance that's really happening behind the scenes that we don't get to quite see, because what we see is what ends up in a museum, and often most of it doesn't even go there. And I actually, speaking of museums, I even remember you mentioning that you had to go to the Cyprus Museum in Nicosia. What's your responsibility?
Yeah, you can't go there and sit down and dig. That's what happened in like 2 centuries ago. But now archaeology is organization, is multiple, is interdisciplinary, and as we told before, is all single fraction of this chain is important. There's nothing much more important than another thing. I mean, we as a project, we are organized. We have different people working together, and so we have experts in different fields, and we have, for example, important members that were supervisors. For example, they are grouping together. They are coordinating the work of other archaeologists on field, or material supervisor is coordinating the work on material coming from different areas of the site, or expert in lithics is responsible for documenting the lithic material, and so they have to interact one with the other, and everything must be strictly organized in terms of different moments. So when you are on the site, you take your material from each unity of stratigraphy, then you document, you bring them material to the house. The pots need to be washed, and all these different phases must be put in order in order to get the as much as possible information. And then what we try to do, and we wanted to do during the last 15 years, is to go to the end of the season and have the material ready to be delivered to the museum, ready to be exhibited. I mean, we also go down to the restoration and conservation of the objects. We found out each season we have a small conservation lab on field. And this is very important, I mean, because we are not there like to sit and dig. We are there to document and deliver what we have to the local authorities. We have a wonderful relation with the Department of Antiquities for this reason, because we have an steady exchanging, not only of results and idea, but also in terms of material to be ready for them. Because of course we are working in foreign countries, and we are in this kind of condition. We have to deliver the material ready for the museum.
While we were there, your team was working really hard on excavating a tomb before the end of the season, and I was actually shocked as to what the rush was. And it should come as no surprise, one of the challenges that affect all dig sites all across Cyprus and all around the world where there's archaeological finds. And you pointed out, in fact, a particular tomb that looters had attempted to dig and abandoned. So what's your concern, obviously as a director, as an archaeologist? I mean, how rampant is looting in Cyprus? How much of a serious concern is this nowadays?
It's really serious concern. As directors of archaeological projects on field, you can understand, we are particularly real linked to the site itself, and we feel like so sad thinking that someone can go there and carry out illegal excavation, clandestine digging, and so on. But this is not the most important aspect. I mean, our feeling, we are not the one who has been violated by the illegal diggings. What is digging? Illegal digging is a part of something much more dangerous, which is the trafficking of archaeological objects on international ground. When we see someone that try to loot a tomb in Erimi, we have not to focus on this single evidence, but to think that someone asked for that antiquities. And normally, we as Western Europeans, we have to feel the biggest responsibility for this, because in all the balance offer and demand, there's something very strong, which is the demand, and demanding antiquities for collections. Illegal collection is something that is not dealing specifically with Cyprus, but is dealing with a wide world system of collecting. Collectors are like a pathological way of living. All the collectors are affected by vanity, deeply affected by vanity, and they live like creating a huge collection, in order to fulfill something is void inside them. I mean, so it's something much more much more deep and difficult to solve.
Yeah, it was sort of sad to see. I understand the wider context. Obviously, the um, selling looted antiquities can also fund a lot of illegal activities and conflict in different countries around the world. So, I mean, obviously, that's one of the more common challenges in excavation. And another challenge that you mentioned to me that I didn't really put much thought into it, but I mean, it seems quite obvious in retrospect, is the challenge that you face when dealing with growing development. And I'm reminded of an attack on an archaeologist in Athens in March 2023 that was connected to developers' appetite to exploit the island of Mykonos. And obviously, this is to the detriment of its cultural heritage. Um, Now, Erimi, it's a protected site, but you've also expressed some concerns to me. Can you just take this chance to kind of tell listeners what your concerns are?
This is another, I mean, uh, problematic aspect. Because yes, Rimi is a protected site. The Department of Antiquities declared the site as archaeological monument for the evidence of prehistoric architecture, Bronze Age structure and settlement. We have the huge circuit wall, which is a unique all over the island. So we are all together working in protecting the site from our side as Italian nation and the Cypriot department. We are working together side by side to protect the site, and the law is on our side. I mean, we have the law as a important tool to use for. But anyway, we are always and in any case we feel like the, as you told, the voracious appetite to exploit and this appetite of the developers looked at Erimi as a new target, and we feel it very, very, very clearly because we have visits from time to time of people that is declare themselves like people they wanted to build there and so on, and because all the area is like increasing and increasing target for developing houses, new villas. And again, this is something which is not related with the Erimi community itself, because people from Erimi and the community, not only the community board, but people that I know since many years, they are really proud of their own heritage. And if you tell them what about if someone can build over the hill, and of course they are not agree at all. So is again someone that we have to find out outside, beyond the internal actor, like for the trafficking of objects, the illicit trafficking of objects. There's again someone as an external actor that is performing a new way of forcing in that direction. These are the developers. Developers are people that are not related to the area, like collectors are not related to the area. Are external people that want to exploit something which is for them like something to express their voracious appetite, which I love too much, this expression.